Should we close the door?
No.
Oh, okay.
You're on. Hey, welcome to the Critical Bench compound. Who are you?
I'm Coach Frank. Who are you?
Yeah, you are. Coach Chris. How's it going? Nice to have you in our
Are you still coach?
I mean, I am.
Yeah, I mean,
I coach baseball.
you do coach baseball, but are you a coach of the compound any longer? I mean, you're kind of the coach of the coaches.
Coach of the coaches.
Yeah. The GM.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
In a
You
hierarchy.
could still be a coach.
In a
Listen, the
hierarchy.
head coach of a football team has lots of coaches
Right,
under
right.
him.
So you're the head coach,
Head coach.
and then we're the operating coaches.
That's right.
Yeah.
Different levels of coaching.
Yeah.
But I feel like once you've achieved the coach as a surname, so to speak, it's a respectful name to refer.
It becomes an identity.
It really does.
It 100% has become an identity within my life, and I think coaching the Little League that I started.
Oh, for
last
sure,
year
dude.
played a role in that, but
You get used to it too. Like you're almost expecting the kids to refer to you as coach.
yeah. Well, that's been cool with the coaching now. Now living in a town where I do coach, it's like the kids that I was coaching, I'll run into them at the grocery store or at the gym. Like, Coach Frank, I hear it from like down the aisle at the store.
That's right.
But I also have a lot of grown men that are calling me coach.
They do. They start calling you coach. Well, you call your other coaches coach.
Yeah.
So the guys I coach with, I know their names. Like we talk to each other, and sometimes I use their name, but sometimes it's like, "Hey, coach.
Just
Hey,
coach.
guys, everybody on coach.
Yeah.
Listen to coach." You know, it's like, but yeah, it's a sign. And I'm sure, like when you get to a very high level, like a Nick Saban, right, or a Belichick, or something
Yeah.
like this, that's mostly what people probably call them.
Of course.
Other than their inner circle, I'm
Yeah.
sure call them by their first name, right? But most people in their lives probably just refer to them as coach because it's a sign of like respect. It's
Yeah.
kind of like your pastor of your church or your,
Call him pastor,
yeah, you just call him pastor.
Or your doctor, you know.
Or your
you don't call
doctor.
your doctor by his first name.
No,
You call him,
right.
You know, doctor.
It's just yeah. So anyway, kind of fun side tangent. But it's not why we're here today.
We're not going to break down what makes a coach or
No,
any of that.
not at all. But I've grown to enjoy it. I like it. I'm sure you do too.
Yeah.
So we kind of want to do like a mishmash Q&A type episode where we're tackling some of the more popular or prevalent questions and comments that come in to our video content. People, you know, when we look through and we scroll through our videos that are getting some of the most commentary, those are probably the things that people are most interested in, curious about, have questions about. And so we're just kind of going to go through. I have 5 things kind of written down. We want to tackle them. These are all things that we're interested in or can talk on and have some fun with. So the first thing, I thought a lot of people, muscle building, which is what you're very comfortable talking about, really that's your wheelhouse, like all aspects of muscle building, right? Over a very long career of doing it yourself. Protein is the most important food, macro, when it comes to muscle building and muscle health. So what are your personal favorite sources of protein, the things that you eat on a regular? And we'll just kind of share our own favorites.
Well, besides the delicious Anabol protein shakes and smoothies, which if you guys want this, check it out in the description box there below. We're actually going to give a free book and a shaker cup.
That's right. And if it's not there yet, we will add it very soon.
But
We will add it.
besides
Oh, thank you, buddy.
the delicious protein shakes, these days, my number one staple for protein is a ribeye.
Ribeye.
Ribeye. Because that's about 80% of the meals that I'm eating.
Wow.
You know,
Breakfast, lunch, or dinner, or whenever it happens that you eat in the day.
it happens when it happens, man. You know, I'm not a 3 meal a day guy anymore. You know, I can't tell you the last time I ate a typical breakfast. It's probably been a couple of years since I've sat down and eaten a meal in the morning that would be considered breakfast. But you could have ribeye and you could have a steak and eggs for breakfast.
I would argue that might be the best breakfast you could ever eat.
That
Steak
may
and
be the
eggs.
best meal. Like breakfast, lunch, dinner, mid-time snack, call it a brunch, call it a dinner, call it a, I'm just hungry right now and I need to eat something type of thing. I don't think many things compare to good 16-ounce ribeye, some eggs.
3, 4 whole eggs.
I mean, you know how I get that.
Well,
It's more
you'll probably go like 6,
like
7,
6 to
8.
8. You know what I mean? But But that's me, man, because we talked about this. I've shot multiple videos. Like these last couple of years, I've gotten away from your traditional, 5, 6 meals a day, kind of stacking like a, bodybuilder. And I just got burnt out from eating all the time. And I've noticed that going more of an intermittent fasting, 1, 2, 3 meals tops per day, very high protein and high fat,
right,
is what's allowing me to stay as strong in the gym as I am. I mean, I've dropped a little bit because I'm not prioritizing the strength as much, but it's definitely making the other parts of my life, I feel, so much more productive. Because I'm not constantly thinking about food. I'm not going on these blood sugars highs and lows. But yeah, I would say for me, it's ribeye. What about you? What's your go-to?
Jeez, I definitely put eggs way up at the top. I'll do eggs for dinner.
Yeah.
Sometimes I just did the other night because I did not feel like the longer preparation required for other food items, chicken, fish, steak, those types of main protein sources. Eggs are just easy. They taste good. I just ate 15 minutes ago. I just had 3 whole hard-boiled eggs, a little salt, a little pepper. I had a single pancake with some peanut butter on it. No syrup or anything. I just ate it kind of almost like a taco.
Yeah.
I smeared like a good tablespoon or so of peanut butter on a pancake that I had made over the weekend, and then just squished it like a taco and ate it with. So I would say second to my eggs would be a red meat, would be steak. I would say like a strip steak of some kind, certainly like a ribeye, something that's not so much like a filet, although I love a filet, but I love kind of any red meat for the most part. I love all different cuts, but I usually gravitate to like a sirloin or a strip.
Now this is more new for me in these last couple of years though. I would say during my time competing though, I ate a lot of chicken. I never thought chicken was like the primary staple. It was cheap. It was easy preparation. You can make it a handful different ways.
Right.
When I was really like getting close to shows, I leaned a lot into whitefish. So a lot of cod, orange roughy, just pure protein, right? Like zero fat.
Cod is amazing and it tastes good.
Yeah. Not fishy tasting
No,
at all.
very
not
light.
Slimy and
Yeah.
gooey. Or ground turkey breast became a big thing of mine. If you can put up with the dryness, maybe throw some mustard in it, mix it up depending on kind of where you're at.
Ground chicken, even though my wife has become more popular or a little bit more available maybe, and she'll get that and she'll use that in stuff, sauces and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, obviously we know tuna, canned tuna is an easy one.
Yeah.
Chicken breast, easy, right? And then obviously the protein powders and shakes.
That's
right.
right.
So check it out there in the description box below.
Those are the good filler. Those are the good filler ones.
See if anyone in the audience has any questions. This is kind of a Q&A.
Oh yeah, it is. Yeah, if you have questions, as we go through this list of talking points, if you have questions about protein, food, what I should be eating, how often I should be eating, but I will say this: whatever the protein is that you enjoy, prioritize it. And make sure that you're getting enough of it in a given day, especially if muscle building is your desire, is what you're trying to achieve. If you're looking to gain more muscle mass, muscle tissue, and support your muscle building, you need to eat it. It needs to come from foods, and it's not going to come from crappy prepared foods. It's not going to come from a diet that's low in protein. It's not. You're going to be just striking out, and you're going to be frustrated. Your muscles aren't going to reach their potential. Your connective tissue is not going to reach its potential, right? And I would say second to the protein, and it's really hard to overeat protein. Really hard to overeat.
Very easy to undereat.
Very easy to undereat. I typically do probably undereat protein.
What are you aiming at, about 0.8 to get?
Yeah,
per pound?
I would say if I could get to 0.8, I am feeling really good about myself. I remember when a year ago when I was working with Will Grazione, a good friend of ours, mutual friend of ours, and really focused on eating like 180 to 200 grams of protein every day, like eating it. That was really hard. And had to supplement to get there. I would say I'm coming up short most days. I would say I struggle to get to 150 grams of protein in a day.
A shake, right?
Have to. Have to. But prioritize that. And second to that would be the fats, the good, healthy fats, right? You need, because your brain needs that.
Yeah.
Your brain needs your brain's like 80% fat, literally 80% fat.
And that's where, for me, right, a ribeye Two birds, one stone.
That's right.
Two birds, one stone.
I mean, a ribeye, and you're talking like a 16 ounce.
At least, yeah.
What's the caloric intake on something that
Oh,
big?
that's well over 1,000 calories in just one piece of meat.
You're getting like what, 70 to 90 grams of protein probably,
yeah.
and I couldn't even guess the fat.
Quite a bit up there, yeah. So
But that could be your one meal of the day, paired.
6 eggs.
I was going to say
add
paired
yeah.
with like something else that's maybe a little bit, quick and easy or something.
Yeah.
Now, would you eat that all at once, or that might be two different?
Right now I'm 1-2 meals a day.
Okay.
I've had a lot of days where it's one. It's 2,000 calories in one bang.
Wow.
But that would be spread off over like a larger eating window. Maybe an hour of eating window. Like I'm not going to down 2,000 calories in 15 minutes. I'll spread it out and I'll enjoy it.
Any fiber or any vegetation of any kind?
For a long time I wasn't doing any. I did only meat. More recently I've been adding a little bit of fruit in.
Okay.
So banana here and there, maybe some blueberries. That's another one. Greek yogurt.
Yeah,
Right?
that's
Greek
a really
yogurt.
good one.
So that,
really
if I want myself a treat dessert at night, I'll take Greek yogurt, take a little scoop of protein powder, mix that up in there, blend it up, and then throw some blueberries up on top to get a little bit of fiber that I need. Yeah, you get that probiotic kind of gut healing health from the Greek yogurt. So yeah, that's what I would say.
That's great. Those are all good. Those are all really good.
What do we got next?
I lived on tuna in college. Gosh,
We all did. Tuna and rice cakes.
Right? So next, 5x5 training. We've done a lot of content over the years on both the Critical Bench Compound channel and the main channel talking about 5x5 training and the advantage of training that way. When you're training for strength, it's probably the best way to train because you get strong fast when you're prioritizing your lifting with the compound lifts and doing 5x5. But the side effect is you get bigger too. So it's not just it's a strength-driven approach, right? You're trying to get strong if you're doing 5x5. Strength is your goal. Not necessarily a power lifter. You're not maybe a competitor or going for 1 rep max. But if you're doing 5x5, you're doing 5 reps on everything, compound lifts. You're trying to get strong. But the side effect is you're going to get bigger.
You're going to get bigger. You're going to get bigger. And one of the things I like about this approach versus maybe some other lower rep, lower volume strength approaches is you have an element of like exercise mastery that has to take place. By that 5th set of 5 reps, you're 25 reps deep. It's some pretty heavy weight.
Yeah.
If you're not performing those reps perfectly, you're at risk for injury. You're at risk to not get it any stronger. So I think it injects a level of like, I need to actually master these movements. Because you could do 1 bench press, like 1 rep, it could be completely horrible. But you do 2, 3 poor executed reps, like you're gonna feel awful a bit. Like, okay, now I need to correct my movements. You know me, right? My background is in perfect muscle building execution. So that's been kind of a secondary effect that I've noticed out of people that I put in 5x5 is like, they're like, hey, I actually feel like I'm getting better at not just getting stronger, but getting better at performing these exercises because I got to do a little bit more volume than 1-2 reps and that's it.
Right. I forget what the origins are of 5x5 training. I'm trying to think where it came from, but I gotta believe it is an old school muscle building hack or approach that came about probably in the 60s.
Yeah.
Like when bodybuilding really kind of became a thing. Like it was kind of a thing, but it was really obscure in like before that. Once the 60s came around, and Arnie was here in like mid 60s, 65, 66, right up to through those early 70s. That was like when it exploded. That was really the age of bodybuilding and building muscle and being like a popular thing that got a lot of attention and media attention and like fame and celebrity. Before that, it was kind of like, you're weird. What are you doing? Like, people didn't go to the gym to like build muscle. They just did like aerobics and walking.
It was the first type of training I can remember in high school weightlifting class. That was a programming that we did for baseball training.
That was actually really smart that was even discussed or implemented with students because that if you want to get strong for a sport, like that's the method you should use.
So we had 3 days of lifting, 5x5. This was for preseason baseball training. We'd have 3 days in the gym One day would be the bench day, the other day would be the squat day, and we had a deadlift day. All 5x5, and based upon the position that you played, you'd have some auxiliary exercises,
Right.
accessory exercises
Yeah.
that you did. And then Tuesday and Thursdays were track days, where we worked on speed.
Yeah. And those things pair very well together.
very
Because the
well.
more explosive you are, the better you're going to be with these lifts.
100%. The carryover crossover from 5x5 into sports is phenomenal. I mean, it's great. Powerlifting, power building, sports training, and for beginning people in muscle building.
Yeah.
It's the best way to start.
Wow, that's awesome.
yeah.
I love it. What I just, and this is kind of a side topic, it's not necessarily 5x5, but it falls into that wheelhouse, is I just recently, in the last couple of weeks, implemented some barbell complexes into my workouts, and I hadn't been doing those for a while, like a long while. A complex is simply where you put a certain amount of weight on a bar, and then you go through a series of lifts, compound lifts, without putting the bar down. So what I did was I put 135 on the bar, and I said, okay, these are the 4 exercises. Four exercises I'm going to do, and I'm going to do 5 reps for each exercise.
Yeah.
So it's like it's 20 total reps without putting the bar down. So it's not ridiculous. So I started with a bent over row, and then I went into a deadlift, more of a Romanian deadlift, narrower stance, right? A little bit more hamstring impact. Then I clean the bar up. Okay, so you get that 1 extra rep that's like a barbell clean, hang clean pretty much. And then I do presses. And then I put the bar either hold it in front rack
do squats
or on my back and do finish with squats and then put the bar down. And I did 3 rounds of that. But what I felt was I said, oh, that was a little too easy. So I'll do the same weight, but I'll up it 1 rep. So then I did 6 reps at each one. And then I said, I can push myself even more. So instead of adding more weight, again, I just added a rep. So then I did 7, 7, 7, 7. And it felt really good. This past week, or this week, earlier in the week, I did another complex. But I was like, I wanted a more conditioning one. So I said, I know, I'm just going to start with 8 at each thing. So I made the bar, I made it a little lighter. I went to like 95 pounds. And then I did, instead of back squats, I did front squats. Everything else was the same. And I did 3 sets of 8, 8, 8. So that's 96 reps that I did with very limited rest. I didn't rest very much. I rest for maybe 90 seconds in between. And when cardio, really felt the heart rate up. And it felt good. And I'm like, wow, I got to do this more. So
you know what's amazing is obviously everybody thinks, complexes, athletic training, athletic conditioning, all these things. Good friend of the show, regular contributor, Erin, while she was competing at the Olympia level, like we trained at the same gym around that time. I know she's competing again now, but this is back when she was winning the figure. Like 10-ish years ago. She was the top figure competitor in the world. Every workout she did started with complexes.
Oh, wow.
Every workout. I had multiple workouts that I did with Erin.
Wow.
And it was the first time I'd ever been introduced to these because I came from a bodybuilding.
Yeah, you were like total isolation.
Yeah, it was like, solely new to me, man. But it was, I mean, it definitely led to the success that she had, I think. I mean,
wow.
So,
well, without question. I mean, for a couple of years, she was untouchable.
top of the world,
Wow, that's amazing. All right, so third thing that I wrote down, I got to get the fingers right.
I always do 3 like this. Like, so if I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
How funny, you switch. So when I do 3, I typically hold the pinky. That's how I do 3. But you hold the index finger.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
And then you actually, so if I do 1, 2, 3, 4, I do 4 like this and then 5.
That's like a gangster.
That's a weird, like a weird thing.
You be careful what neighborhood you throw that up in.
Can you do with your fingers, can you like separate the outs?
I can't.
Yeah, you did. You got it. And then can you do a single finger without the other one popping off? Try this at home if you're watching.
Yeah, we want to hear from you guys.
This is very important.
What gang are you in?
I'm in the compound gang. So weird.
C, B, C. Okay.
Okay, here we go. Where's Coach Brian?
Brian!
Coach, where are you?
Oh, he's not here.
He's not here right now.
Definitely not here.
So we get this question routinely on both channels, on the Compound channel, on our main Critical Bench channel. If you're watching us here on the Compound and you're like, what are you talking about, the main channel? Like, what's that? Well, we have our original Critical Bench channel that is the bigger channel, kind of the big daddy, if you will. And then the Compound was just a secondary channel that we had for years, and that we decided to we'll make it more muscle building, more strength-based stuff, and more general health and fitness stuff on the main channel. So that's what we mean when we talk about that. But Coach Brian, for many years, from 2015 up through 2019, what?
How much protein do you need to eat without raising your blood sugar too much? There's some blood sugar questions. Any answers?
Without raising your blood sugar too much. So this is somebody that wants to stay like low glycemic with their I don't know.
How much protein can you have without raising your blood sugar?
There's not, I mean, it depends on the protein, I guess, but most protein is extremely low in,
I don't see it even having
much effect.
In fact, I don't see the,
Eggs, you're not going to raise your blood sugar.
Yeah.
Steak, you're not going to raise your blood sugar. Chicken, you're not going to raise your blood sugar. Fish, you're not going to raise your blood sugar.
Yeah.
These are all like really like
proteins and fat have no impact on your blood sugar. It's the introduction of carbohydrates.
Maybe they meant blood pressure. Maybe. It could be.
Yeah, but blood pressure wouldn't have an impact. I mean, the protein wouldn't have an impact on your blood pressure. That would be other health markers that you need to be paying attention to.
Correct.
No.
I think I don't know, I know sometimes what people think when they think eating a lot of protein, eating a lot of steak, eating a lot of eggs, they think cholesterol, right? And they start thinking about that, like health consequences of eating too much cholesterol, too much animal product.
Yeah. But we were specifically
a lot of that's
talking
been debunked.
The grams of the protein. That's the research is very clear there. It's for an active adult, 0.8 to 1 gram.
It's pretty darn clear. Pretty much everything that's been out there for decades.
I mean, you can even get up to. I've had guys that have gone as high as 2 grams. You know, if you're low carbohydrate, if you're low fat, and you're towards the end of a cut, you'll bump your protein up to as high as 2 grams per body weight. I mean, at one point in me, I was over 400 grams of protein. I was taking
ridiculous.
Per day.
That's ridiculous. But you were also about 265, 70 pounds?
At that time, I was probably 230, but I was shredded.
Oh, but you had no fat.
Yeah, no, there's like sub 6% body fat.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
So, yeah, I don't see a real threat there with your protein. If you're concerned with blood pressure or the blood sugar, look at other health markers, and probably best to speak with a primary.
Oh, absolutely. Physician. In fact, I'm going to be doing a podcast coming up here soon. Do you know Gillis, who works with...
Yes.
He seems like a really sharp guy. I was talking to him briefly. He works with Will Grazione, and we're going to talk about like what your blood tells you about your health. But, just cool stuff about that. But most people don't ever go get checked out, get blood work done, know what the heck anything's going on in their own body, because everyone's so concerned about everything else in their life. They don't put any emphasis on their own health and well-being. But your blood... If you just go get blood work done and then sit and talk with somebody who can read what their blood panel, what your numbers are, it'll tell you a lot about stuff that you can prevent. They can see things like, ooh, you know what, this is a little high. You should probably start doing this to avoid what could happen 10 years down the line. So anyway, go get your blood work done, I would say.
Coach Brian.
Coach Brian, where the hell is this guy?
Yeah.
Coach Brian is very much alive. In fact, he was here in the building just a couple of weeks ago. Were you here for that workout? No, you couldn't make that workout. Brian is still a good friend of ours. He still comes by a lot for workouts. Every once in a while, if we can, we try to get him in here for some filming. Brian, listen, when you make as much video content as he made, well over 1,000 videos. I mean, I don't even know, 1,500 maybe, over the course of like a 3 to 4 year period. There's a level of, I would say, burnout that happens, but also things change in your life. You have other ambitions or things that you gravitate towards. And he had other desires and other things that he wished to do.
Growing a family.
He's got 2 boys.
And they were living in an RV for a while. Brian out there is living an amazing life, guys.
He's doing just fine, and he keeps close. He's in touch with all of us.
All the time.
Good friend of ours, and he's not gone anywhere. But hopefully we'll drag him back in here maybe and get him in some future content.
If you guys want to see Brian comment this video, please bring Brian back, and we can screenshot, and we'll all send him a text message. Look at all the people that want to see you, Brian.
Listen, I have so many great memories making video content with Brian. I mean, literally hundreds of videos of us together
he's
making
so
videos.
smart, man. He's so brilliant, you know, and he's got a great ability to just articulate very high level concepts in a very easy to understand way.
Speaking of Coach Brian, he was shirtless in a lot of
That's
his
why everybody's
content.
missing him, because they're like, where's that?
Where's the ripped shirtless guy?
Well, we got
That's
Zach. We got Zach these days now.
Zach is amazing these days. Have you seen how like muscular and lean he is? Like he could be on a stage in like a month.
Yeah.
If he wanted to.
He's hitting that time in his life though where men should be peaking. Like,
well, that's true. 27 to 30 range, right?
I peaked at like 32.
Wow.
Physically.
So he's right there.
Yeah,
he's got that mature muscle now. Because
Yep.
if you look at his physique, when we started filming with him about 5 years ago compared to now, he looks way better now than he did when he was like 22, 23.
Yeah.
24.
Yeah.
He looks better now.
It's the maturity.
It's that muscle maturity.
The density that the muscles get when they have a little bit more time in the body. But no, Brian was very well known for being shirtless.
Yes.
So there's a question here around, should YouTubers or social media celebrities be shirtless or should they wear shirts?
So I saw a comment on one of your videos, that dumbbell video on this channel that has like 1 million or 2 million views.
Wow, okay.
Whatever that one is, right? Where you're going through and you're just teaching people like 13 dumbbell exercises, right? That video. And a comment came in that said, hey, thank you so much for wearing a shirt.
Yeah.
And something to the effect of like not making me feel bad. And I think what it is sometimes is you get these fitness professionals and YouTubers and people that are doing great stuff. They have great content. They're very disciplined in their training, in their eating habits, in their approach to living a fit life. That's their lifestyle, that's their livelihood. So in order to be able to present that information, I think they say, well, if I'm the real deal, if I'm who I say I am, then I need to prove that by showing everybody without a shirt on that I have abs, that I have pecs, that I have muscle separation, that I look like I practice what I preach.
It's like the financial planner, right? You know, you don't walk into a financial planning office, you know, and A, number one, you're not going to see a beater part out front. You're going to be driving a newer car. You'll probably have nice suit on, nice jewelry, just the showing off of like, hey, I'm financially. Not bragging, but I'm financially well to do.
That's
right.
right.
You walk into a commercial gym, like you're looking for a personal trainer. You're not going to go find the obese guy and be like, hey, tell me how to get in shape, because clearly they're not in shape.
That's right.
You know,
you're looking for the discipline.
Yeah.
You're looking for the professionalism.
Yeah.
You're looking for the seriousness.
Yeah.
You're looking for all of these things, right?
Yeah. And so there's the effect of like you need to show what you know, and I think the example of your own body first, but I do think that there's also some value when you're teaching like execution, right, of like muscle fibers firing, to be able to see it working within the body. You know, there's some benefits behind there as well. But I see the person's point though, right? It's like you kind of got to know the audience of the video.
That's right.
You know, if you're teaching like true mechanics, like this is how the muscle fibers run and operate, probably not a video that's being shot for a basic beginner.
Right.
This is going to be something a little bit more immediate, a little bit more advanced, and now they're trying to kind of get into the depth of the training. So that person wouldn't be as intimidated, you know, because maybe they're even close to where you are physically. But if you're shooting a video for beginners, you know, like the one that you were mentioning, out of respect maybe for them, and I probably was bulking at the time, to be honest.
You were. You were thick rich.
Yeah.
Frank Rich at that time. I mean, you had you were probably every bit of 260 pounds
easily
in that
then,
video. And you didn't need to have a shirt off for everyone to see that you had muscle.
Yeah.
And that you should be listened to.
Yeah.
And credible, right? I sometimes have felt over the years, because I will fluctuate. I will get down into like the low 190s all the way up to like 220. I have this 30-pound weight thing. I have to be extremely disciplined with my eating habits in order, and I was about a year ago, and I got down to the point where I felt like I could take my shirt off and you could see muscle, and I had a flat stomach and all of these things. But it's hard, man. It's not easy, especially when you have all these other things pulling you in different directions. I'm 46 years old. I got a wife. I got 2 children. I got work. I got after-school activities. I got all these things. Like, it's really hard for me to focus that much energy and time and discipline into everything that goes in my mouth, counting my macros, because I need those kind of markers in place, or things in place for me to be that disciplined. The reason I say that is because it's about knowing your audience. Our audience over the years has certainly changed a little bit, but I think there's certain audiences, that's what they want. They want to see shirtless every video because that's why they're following you.
Yeah.
And then I think there's other people that are like maybe more intimidated by that and want to feel like that they are able to be who they are.
Yeah.
A beginner who's not as disciplined, who's looking for motivation and looking for education, but doesn't want to be turned off by like, oh, I'll never reach that level of fitness.
Yeah, I think all content, right, kind of walks this line of balancing between entertainment and education. You know, we lean probably a little bit more towards the education with a layer of entertainment.
Yes.
There's a lot of channels out there that are entertainment first, and then maybe they're going to throw, you know, a bit of education in there. These guys are all about the flash, you know, speaking to maybe a little bit younger of an audience as well, right? You know, teenagers are going to be impressed by the 27-year-old that's jacked and shredded and you know, has cars and girls in his videos. Once again, understanding your audience, who you're talking to, and what's the mission and really the values behind the brand. Like here at Critical Bench, Strong by Design, like our values are plastered all over the wall. Like we're not to present or project a lifestyle that isn't attainable for everybody out there. We want to use fitness as a tool to better every single area of our life, our spiritual life, our relationships, our health, our fitness, our families. You know, you don't need your shirt off and flashy cars and beautiful women to create that type of content.
That's right. And at 25, that's the most important thing in your life.
And we're not knocking any of those guys.
I was there.
I got friends that are YouTube celebrities today. I love these kids, man. You know? We're just talking to different people.
We're in different places.
Yeah.
I was a different person 20 years ago than I am today, right? 20 years ago, I had just moved to Florida and just met my wife. But prior to that, I was kind of living for myself. You know, now I'm not living for myself. I'm living for a lot of other people, and that requires me to direct my attention and focus elsewhere. And I would say nutrition and eating habits has always been a weakness or a hard thing for me to do, to really be diligent and good at it.
And it's been a progression for me. I mean, you go back to my social media 4 or 5 years ago.
Oh my gosh.
70% of the content was shirtless.
That's right.
You know, these days, me putting a shirtless video on my Instagram page would do nothing for where I'm trying to take my business.
In fact, it might take away from your platform.
It probably would these days. So, yeah, know your audience, know what it's about. But also for the people watching, like if that stuff turns you off, like go find the people that don't.
That's right. But we do a little bit of everything on our channel.
Yeah.
Right? Both channels.
4,000
You
plus
get shirtless, you get shirts, you got, you know.
You got kid stuff, you got Ashley, you got Becky, you got Chris.
We're all over the map.
Yeah, we got everything you need.
You know, but we are going to get back to the focus really being on workouts and exercise, because that's really where we've established ourselves over the last 15 years on YouTube, is as a workout, exercise, instructional, educational type platform.
I know we got a fifth and final one. Before we get to that, guys, remember, we're giving these away today. It's free shaker cup, free protein. I think there's over 30
There's a picture of you in there.
Yeah, 30 smoothies in here. Well,
hey, Alain Gonzalez.
No shirt. Look at that.
No shirt. Vanya's got a shirt on. We like usually the girls are.
The girls, they kind
their
of keep
shirts
shirts on. Yeah, it's kind of a good.
Lots of pictures. Hey, there you are.
There he is. There he is. I'm not sure which one it's in, but hey.
I remember that day.
Yeah. I don't know why I'm sleeping.
We did a fun arm workout, like team workout day that day, and we filmed it.
Yeah.
If you recall.
Yeah. So guys, free shaker cup, limited ones left. Click the link in the description box there. What's our last question?
We're going to talk about testosterone for a second, if we will. I know, how much time do we got? Let's do the condensed, quick, fast-forwarded version of what are the benefits of having higher testosterone? What are the benefits? What are a few things that come to your mind when you think, oh, if a guy's testosterone is where it should be for his age, where it, like, let's say a 30-year-old, okay? A 30-year-old, somebody like Zach. If you had to guess what Zach's testosterone level is at, you would probably say somewhere between 700 and 900.
I was going to say it might even be closer to 1,000. That dude's oozing with
He's got a lot of tea
right now.
And naturally, too.
Yeah. Oh, he's 100%. natural. But he's pulling all the levers that he
Yes,
can,
he
man.
is.
He's getting regular sunlight, he's getting cold exposure therapy,
Sleep.
he's sleeping, he's meditating, he's training hard, he's monitoring his health nutrition, he's an expert, he's avoiding certain chemicals that are gonna have negative impacts. Zach has dialed it in. The biggest benefit for men, other than just being the man that you were born to be, vitality, right? It's like just the zest and fire for life, energy, focus, strength, recovery.
Yes, all of that things. Yeah, recovery is huge. It's all the stuff. It's all the stuff that's not happening in the gym.
Yes.
Lifting weights.
Yes.
It's how well are you anabolic when you're sleeping?
Yes.
Right. How well is your body repairing after an intense workout?
Yes.
How clear-headed are you? Are you living with brain? Like, I know you especially have talked about this in the past, just how more clear you are when you're more dialed in with your nutrition and you're getting to sleep at a good time. When you wake up early, you're just hyper-focused, hyper, like, into whatever it is. Like, almost like you got the horse blinders on and you can just really zone in. And a lot of people are missing that. And guys especially, when your testosterone is lower than it should be at a particular age, I know when I was in my middle, upper 30s, I started investing time in finding out.
Okay.
I was going to get regular blood work done, and I was in the like low 300s. And I didn't feel right.
Yeah.
I had that midday bog.
Oh, God.
At 2 o'clock, I felt like I could just fall asleep in my chair at work. It wasn't good. And so I'm like, what can I do? So I started cleaning a few things up after consulting with the doctor who helped go through what all these numbers meant on this blood panel. And I started taking it was prescribed DHEA and with pregnenolone. And that helped, and I kind of naturally with that, this isn't TRT or anything else. This is like what would come before TRT.
Yeah.
And I said, I don't want to go to shots and I don't want to go to testosterone injections. I'm too young. I'm 35, 36 years old. I don't want that stuff. How can I naturally get it up? And I was doing all that stuff and I got it well up into the 600s.
Nice.
And then I was like, I do feel better.
Yes.
I did get my numbers up. I cleaned up my eating. I cleaned up my sleeping a little bit. And I maybe manipulated the way I train. Manipulated a few other things. And sure enough, I improved it. So there is hope.
Yeah.
For you out there who are interested in naturally making a change before having to immediately go to, I guess I'm a candidate for TRT. Not saying that maybe one day you won't be, but listen, there's a lot of clinics. I think a lot of people just don't know why they feel like crap, why they have low energy, why they have brain fog, why they can't build muscle. And it's like, go get a blood test. It all comes down go get blood work done and find out where the heck you're
We're
at.
talking at length about this, right? The average 30-year-old these days has the testosterone of a 6-year-old just 40
50
years
years
ago,
like a half a century ago.
Yeah, so we're speaking to a real, epidemic around the world right now. So, most people don't know. They don't have any idea. But it's got to start with data. It's got to start with the actual information that's laid out in front of you. So if you're struggling with low energy, if you're struggling with low libido, if you're struggling with strength recovery, like you work out and then it takes you 4 days to bounce back and recover, ideally, if you're a 30, 35-year-old man, it's time to start getting your blood work.
Yeah,
monitored
absolutely.
And checked on a regular
After
basis.
30,
At least
you got to
once-
get all these things
at least
looked
once,
at.
twice a year,
Yes.
minimum. It's well worth the $200, $300 investment that you're going to make in yourself, because it's going to give you the information that you need to then make the necessary choices in your life, in your training, in your nutrition, in your recovery, so that not only those numbers can stay where they are, but actually begin to ascend up, just like you did.
I doubled my
your
testosterone
probably within 6 months.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Cleaning stuff up with a little bit of a prescribed DHEA with pregnenolone. And again, I'm not saying it's for everybody or what you need to do. You need to consult with somebody, a professional, an expert, and figure that out for yourself. But that's, and then of course, there's T-Drive too. It's a plug
we're
for
gonna give this away
T-Drive.
too.
I'll give it. You know what? I'll give 3 bottles of T-Drive away to people who comment that they want a bottle of T-Drive. How about that? How about them apples?
Oh.
All you got to do is in this live video say, I want a bottle of T-Drive. T-Drive is a natural testosterone boosting herbal combination. I think it has 13. Forget how many it has in it. It might be just 10. It has DIM in it, which is actually something that helps suppress estrogen, but it's all natural. And I still take this, and I take that with my DHEA
3 people,
before I go to bed. Yeah,
Comment.
3 people getting it. Hey, that was fun. We just kind of talked about some random stuff.
Always a good time with you, brother.
Always a good time.
Yeah,
Glad we got to do this.
Yeah.
Hope everybody enjoyed
Lunch?
our fun lighting. Yeah, lunch. Let's do it.
Grab some lunch, guys.
Thanks for watching. Leave some comments below so we can give you some free stuff. We appreciate you. We'll see you next time.